Hi everyone, welcome back to Toad Town Tours. This is our second episode we're ever recording. I'm Opra Zebb, also known as JoJo, and I'm here with Ezra, also known as Bath Soap.
Hello, I'm Ezra, also known as Bath Soap.
Wow, nice to meet you, finally, after all this time. So today we're going to be talking about a little game, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Super Mario Bros. 2.
Pretty much the greatest game ever made, according to many, according to some, not according to few.
I'm quite a fan of it. I'm quite a fan, personally.
I'm going to say this is probably the first Mario game that I really, I got it. I played it. Well, I should say Super Mario Advance was my first experience playing Mario 2, because it was on the Super Mario All-Stars collection, but I just never touched it, not even once, until I had a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I believe Mario Advance was the same way I played it.
When I was younger and had played this on my purple GBA, the OG model, I had this cartridge inside my Game Boy Advance when I left my GBA with this game. I left it at the store, but my mom was like, all right, let's go. And I was playing my Game Boy Advance while walking around the store as a child, and I lost it, and it was gone forever.
Oh my god. That must have been traumatic.
Devastating.
Must have been very traumatic to lose Super Mario Bros. 2.
Well, what do we got today? What are we thinking? You want to tackle Doki Doki Panic first?
I do want to talk a lot about Doki Doki Panic, because I guess we'll recap what that is for people who are, who somehow forgot or never heard any video game trivia on the internet ever. Mario 2 was basically a localized version of this game, Doki Doki Panic. Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic. It translates to Dream Factory Heart-Pounding Panic, and it was a licensed game based on this TV festival from 1987 in Japan called Dream Factory 87, and Nintendo made a crossover game. Not a crossover game. Nintendo made a game, a licensed game.
It was for Fuji TV, right?
Yeah, it was Fuji TV's, had little characters, and Nintendo made a game starring those characters. And that was Doki Doki Panic. And that game actually started as a prototype by Miyamoto, a Mario game with more of a focus on vertical platforming. Yeah, Doki Doki Panic was already an honorary Mario game. It was, I've been playing Doki Doki Panic. I didn't beat the whole game, but I played a lot of it, and it has a lot more in common with Mario than you'd think. There's POW blocks in it. It has the exact same jump sound effect. It has the exact same coin sound effect. It really shares a lot with Mario already. I mean, I feel like that's why when it was reskinned as Super Mario Bros. 2, no one really, cared. Cared isn't the right word. No one was bothered. No one was like, this doesn't feel like Mario. Everyone was like, yeah, this is the second Mario game.
Well, plus, Doki Doki Panic, it did not have a run function. They added that for the Mario version.
Yeah, I distinctly remember, I thought my button might have been broken or something. I was like, why can't I run when I was playing Doki Doki Panic? So that's probably one of the biggest differences between the two. Another thing is that when you're at the lowest amount of health in Mario 2, you shrink down like in Mario 1. And that's just not a thing at all in Doki Doki Panic. I think that's why in Mario 2, when you shrink down, your character's heads still are just huge. They stay the same size.
That always kind of bothered me.
I think it looks funny, but yeah, I agree. It's strange.
As well as in Doki Doki Panic, there's multiple endings, I believe.
I'm not sure if there's multiple endings, but you're supposed to do multiple playthroughs. Each character has their own save data, kind of like Sonic and Knuckles or something like that. Sonic 3 and Knuckles, rather. Or Sonic Heroes, I guess, is the most comparable video game to that.
And you needed to beat all 20 stages with all 4 of the family members.
Yeah. Those family members, by the way, are Imagine is the character that was turned into Mario. Lena was turned into Princess Peach. Mama was turned into Luigi.
Mama Luigi?
Exactly. They predicted that. And Papa was turned into Toad. And all 4 characters have different properties. Mario is the one that's all around. Peach is slower and weaker, but she has a floating jump. Luigi has really bad traction when running, but has a crazy high jump and is really fast. And Toad is the fastest, but has the lowest jump and can lift things the quickest. He is very strong.
Yeah, and like what you just said about Peach, how Peach is the weakest, I always misinterpreted hearing that as a kid because I would exclusively play as Peach because she had the hover, and that was just the best way to get around. But really understanding that all four of the characters have different speeds of which they lift things over their heads. Like, I really do think that all four of the characters are almost completely different experiences altogether.
Oh, very much, yeah. I've been, in my recent playthrough of USA, or just Mario 2, Advance, I meant. In my recent playthrough of that, I've been switching characters around a lot, and it really feels completely different, like, for every character. Like, there are some of them just, like, I will play one level and be like, oh, I'm great at this game, and then I'll try it as Luigi, and I'll be like, this is the hardest thing I've ever played. Like... so it's interesting, like, how the playstyle, like, genuinely changes, depending on what you're trying.
And you mentioned this back in the last episode, how so many ideas and concepts from this particular game are just mainstays for the entire Mario franchise, especially how all four of the characters move and act. And I guess the most clear example would be Super Mario 3D World, where all four of the characters share the exact traits of this game.
Yeah, it was like a direct continuation, but yeah, Peach's floating ability is referenced constantly. It's in every Smash Brothers game where she's playable. It was in the Mario movie. I believe it's going to be in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And yeah, like that's... Hell, more of Peach's moveset in Smash Brothers is directly inspired by this game. Her down special is her pulling out a turnip, and sometimes it's even a bob-omb, because that's something you can also pull out of the grass.
In Super Mario Maker 2, there is no... Super Mario 2 gameplay. Like, there's the super ball flower from Mario Land, but to my knowledge, there's no like gameplay style or even a power up that you can get to make yourself pick things up like in Mario 2. Because it's just the mushroom that adds an extra heart container.
They added it as a power up. I think I'm not sure if this is like confirmed, but people speculate that they intended to make a Super Mario Brothers 2 theme if the game sold better. But it didn't sell as well as they'd hoped, so they instead made it like a power-up for the Mario 1 theme.
But there's no way to like place down vegetables for you to pluck out of the ground or anything.
No, but it makes it so like jumping on enemies doesn't defeat them. You stand on them instead, okay. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't really explored that much.
It's a very different kind of gameplay. I would like to play more levels with that. We really should have like a Mario Maker like
extravaganza,
like a week long, like, oh, we make levels for each other, and it would be like an event episode or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I read an interesting YouTube comment that was Super Mario Brothers 2, the original version was it's as if the Super Mario Maker community got to make a real Mario game with the difficulty.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That definitely feels like the first... I don't remember who said this, but I remember someone saying this is the first ever troll game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It really does seem like just something that someone would make with no knowledge on how you're supposed to make a video game.
Well, Miyamoto, he was not even a part of the original Mario 2.
That's right. It was directed by Takashi Tezuka, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just want to... I'm looking at the instruction manual for Doki Doki Panic, and this little Discoon guy showing you what to do.
Oh, I love those.
Don't step on him, though. Don't use a magnet on him.
Don't use a magnet on your Famicom discs, by the way, guys. It, like, not even as a joke. It will break the disc. Okay?
So, the storyline of Doki Doki Panic, it differs, but not too much. It's basically they're sucked into a book, right?
Yeah. So I couldn't find a full translation of the script, but I found a synopsis here. It says, one day, Peaky and Pokey were reading a book about the Moo people, who determine the quality of dreams and determine the quality of the next day's weather. Because of this, the Moo citizens invented a dream machine so they could always have good dreams. One day, Wart invaded the land of Moo and twisted the dream machine into a nightmare machine. However, the Moo people learned learned of his weakness to vegetables and used them to defeat him. While the twins were reading under the supervision of their pet monkey Rusa, they ended up fighting over who gets to turn the page, accidentally tearing out the ending. Wart, now freed from his doomed canon, pulls the twins into the book himself as a new world conquest. Rusa rushes to the family of the twins and Lena, all jumping into the book to rescue him. So, as you heard there, that they pull out the last page of the book. That's actually why World 7 in the game has one less level than the rest of the game.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's why it has 2 levels instead of 3. In fact, the little picture at the start of each stage, it's meant to look like a book in Doki Doki Panic, but they changed it to look more like a generic square in Super Mario Brothers 2.
Mm-hmm. And I really like the gambling aspect. There's just quite literally slot machines, and that doesn't really tie into any of the themes or narrative. It's just kind of there.
Yeah, it's funny. I've probably been playing this game for near 20 years. I found out this year that you can put more than 1 coin into the slot machine at once.
What does that do?
It doubles your bet. So if you put in 10 coins, then get all 7s, it'll multiply those coins by your lives or whatever.
Then you learned that this year. I just learned that this very second.
Yeah. So it shows little arrows pointing to the right at your coin counter, and I thought it was just saying hey, here's your coins, but no, it was actually saying press right on the D-pad to put more coins in. Never knew that.
Gotta gamble a bit more.
Yeah, we always gotta gamble.
But okay, really though, there's very little changes from Doki Doki Panic to Super Mario Brothers 2, aside from the magic lamp turning into the potion bottle.
Yeah, a lot of little things like that. The biggest change really is as you might notice when looking through the old graphics for Doki Doki Panic, and even looking at the designs in Mario 2, it's a very mask-themed game. There's a lot of masks everywhere. There are enemy masks, Shy Guys wear masks, Sniffits wear masks, the Tweeters wear masks. And looking at the Japanese version, even more things were masks. The little mushroom blocks that you can use to create your own paths in Mario 2 are masks in Doki Doki Panic. The little falcon head that you walk into at the end of the level was also a mask. The little turtle shell that you throw in Mario 2 was a mask in Doki Doki Panic. What I think is also really interesting here that I'm noticing is to boost your maximum health at a level in Mario 2, you have to find a little mushroom in subspace. But in Doki Doki Panic, it's a heart with little eyes on it.
I really like that.
I also like that too, but I realized it is pretty much identical to how the hearts look in Mario Odyssey.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I guess a heart container, I've never considered a Mario version of that, because this is the only Mario game that kind of visualizes your health in such a way.
Aside from Mario Odyssey, I believe so.
Yeah. And Galaxy.
Galaxy did use mushrooms to refill the health, though, and coins. But yeah, they brought back hearts as a thing in Odyssey.
What do you think the explanation is for the mask theme? What do you think that ties into?
I think it might have to do with Yume Kojo 87. It was this festival. Maybe it was a festival where they wore masks. They gave out masks.
Well, I mean, just from what I've seen through media, a lot of Japanese kind of festivals, they'll always have colossal mask booths.
Yeah, masks for sale, a ton of them, in rows. Yeah, so I guess because it was based on this festival.
Dream Festival.
Yeah. We know very little about Japanese culture. We know more than the average dude, but I'm not claiming to know a lot. I've never been to Japan. I don't really know anyone from Japan. I just read about Nintendo games, and a lot of the time they have things with Japanese culture sort of intertwined.
And you mentioned this in the last episode, but it's much of our just from playing video games, playing Nintendo games from such an early age. Like, much of our worldview has been shaped by these games. Like,
absolutely.
The gigantic pots in this game. I'd never seen a giant vase that big before. I'm like, yep, that's the thing from Mario 2.
I remember you talking about that, specifically that pot, yeah.
I really like this sticker of Mario and Imagine, like, shaking hands. It's at the very end. I would love to have that as an actual sticker.
It's very cool, yeah. I do plan on picking up an actual copy of Doki Doki Panic for myself. I don't own a copy myself. I do want to point out, like, in the last episode, I was, like, talking about, like, how many enemies from this game, how many characters from this game, like, are Mario mainstays. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even realize, like, it was more than I thought. Not only is it Birdo, Shy Guy, Pokey, Sniffit, and Bob-omb, but also Pidgeot and Ninji, which make a few reappearances. Pidgeot is kind of seldom used, but he is in Mario and Wario.
That's right.
And Ninjas are very cute. I absolutely love Ninji.
Ninji? He's in Mario Kart.
Is he in the phone one?
Yeah, Mario Kart Tour.
And he was also recently added as a free DLC character to Mario Golf on Switch.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I will say, like, not to jump to another topic, but Mario sports games, they're not my. I'm not too familiar with many of the sports games.
Really?
I'm more of a mainline fan, especially Mario Golf. The only one I ever played was on the 64.
Mario Golf is my favorite Mario sports series. I've played all of them, a bit. Like, I haven't played all of them to death. Definitely my biggest blind spot is Mario Baseball and Mario Hoops 3-on-3.
Oh, I love Mario Hoops. That I could go on about that.
I've played it, but it was difficult for me.
Has Flurry ever made a reappearance?
Flurry
from
Thousand Year Door?
From Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh,
a snow monster. He'll chase you on ice skates.
Oh yes. He does appear in the Mario 2 show, or the Super Mario Brothers Super show. I know this because he's the character that licks Bowser's feet when he says, "I want my feet licked."
And that's another thing. How in the Super show they have King Koopa, but that entire show is all Super Mario Brothers 2 stuff, like pretty much exclusively.
Yeah, like Birdo, Shy Guys, the Flurries, as you mentioned. And those,
but it's King Koopa.
Yeah, those characters were never associated with Bowser. Bowser is not in this game at all.
Which is why King Koopa is kind of green, because they were drawing off of Wart.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, and Spark. Spark has also.
That's true. Sparks. I forgot. Sparks. Fuck. Sparks.
I wish Bezos would make a return, though.
I agree. I believe Bezos might be in Super Mario RPG. There's definitely a flying Shy Guy that looks similar. I want to look this up. One moment.
I never really internalized the Bezo as being a Shy Guy. I kind of always looked at them, and especially in the ending of Mario 2, like how there's a bunch of them in a circle. I never... Like, I'm looking at them now, obviously he's a Shy Guy, but they don't have the mouth circle. So I kind of always thought they were, like, flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz.
I can see that.
I guess it thematically makes sense in, like, like, Wizard of Oz takes place in a dream.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because, again, the original plot of the game wasn't supposed to be... It's very strange that Doki Doki Panic isn't supposed to take place in a dream. It's because it's literally called Dream Factory. That's the title of the game. Also, I looked it up. Bezos are in Super Mario RPG, which means we are getting them back because Super Mario RPG is getting a remake.
I've always had this kind of notation that Super Mario Brothers 2 was like the black sheep of the series, but over the years, I've pretty much... It seems like it's very beloved. Like, it seems that no one really has anything bad to say about Mario 2.
Yeah.
It's like, even though it's so different than any other Mario game ever.
Yeah, no one really, like it's not like Zelda 2, where people are like, this is different, and it sucks because of that. People really love Mario 2. It's interesting, though, because I see so much love for Mario 2, but I've never really seen anyone be like, I want another Mario game that plays like Mario 2. Like, I've never seen anyone ask for that. It just seems like something they enjoyed and are fine with as is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But one thing that it pisses me off about this game, the 1-up mushroom, that's not how it looks.
It just has 1-up written on it.
And they already had the 1-up mushroom from the first game. Like, that was already a different sprite.
Yeah, that's true. Are 1-up mushrooms in the original or just in the Game Boy Advance game?
No, they're in the original for sure.
Okay. I wasn't able to play them as extensively as I was with Mario 1 for the last episode, just because the game is so much longer.
Absolutely.
And like, that's another point I wanted to make is like, oh my god, this game is huge compared to Mario 1. There's just so many, like, not even in terms of like length, but just like different kinds of things to do in it. And like
different ways to solve problems.
Yeah, there's so many like different kinds of things to interact with and stuff like that. It's a lot.
I do want to mention, I want to go over the story of Super Mario Brothers 2.
Absolutely,
because it's kind of wild. I'm just going to read it verbatim. One evening, Mario had a strange dream. He dreamt of a long, long stairway leading up to a door. As soon as the door opened, he was confronted with a world he had never seen before, spreading out as far as his eyes could see. When he strained his ears to listen, he heard a faint voice saying, "Welcome to Subcon, the land of dreams. We have been cursed by Wart, and we are completely under his evil spell. We've been awaiting your arrival. Please defeat Wart and return Subcon to its natural state. The curse Wart put on you in the real world will not have any effect on you here. Remember, Wart hates vegetables. Please help us." At the same time this was heard, a bolt of lightning flashed before Mario's eyes, stunned. Mario lost his footing and tumbled upside down. He woke with a start to find himself sitting up in his bed. To clear his head, Mario talked to Luigi, Toad, and Princess about the strange dream he had. They decide to go to a nearby mountain for a picnic. After arriving at the picnic area and looking at the scenery, they see a small cave nearby. When they enter this cave, to their great surprise, there's a stairway leading up and up. It was exactly like the one Mario saw in his dream. They all walk together up the stairs, and at the top, find a door that's just like the one in Mario's dream. When Mario and his friends, in fear, open the door, to their surprise, the world that he saw in his dream spreads out before them.
So that's a pretty weird story.
Absolutely.
What I immediately think of when I hear that is that as soon as you start the game, it shows Mario falling down from the sky through a door frame. Mm-hmm. Which is
whichever
cool.
character you pick.
It's true, yeah. I just say Mario as I guess he's the canon one. This isn't Super Toad Brothers 2, you know?
But this actually, it raises questions for me personally, because when you finish the game, it cuts to Mario in his bed, sleeping. And this is probably one of the most famous and earliest examples of it was all a dream.
Yeah, definitely probably the first one in video games anyway.
Absolutely. But it makes me question, like, so Mario, he had this dream where he heard this voice, Subcon needs your help, but, Subcon, obviously that's subconscious.
Wow, very clever name, Nintendo, very clever.
But, what do you make of all this? Is it all a dream, or are Mario, Peach, Luigi, and Toad, did they experience this?
Maybe all four of them dreamed it. I'm not sure.
They were all under the spell.
Yeah, it's very possible. Personally, like, I never really gave the story of this game too much thought. It just seemed like another adventure for Mario and friends to go on.
Well, I actually think there's a very intriguing and deep element to all of this that a lot of people, I have no clue where I heard this before. I didn't come to this conclusion myself, but this is Mario's subconscious, apparently. This is in his dreams. The very first enemy that you encounter in this game, it's the Shy Guy, right? Mm-hmm. So in years later, in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, we see the story of Mario as a baby, arguably the earliest era in Mario's chronology. Like, this is the earliest age we see Mario in, baby Mario.
Right.
He's delivered by the stork. When Baby Mario is on the back of Yoshi, in that game, the very first enemy that you encounter is the Shy Guy. The Shy Guy is the first enemy Mario ever saw as a baby. So the fact that this is appearing in his dream, in his subconscious, I think that's quite interesting. Like, this is a deep recessed memory of his or something, like encountering the Shy Guys, like he's seen them before.
God damn. Wow. Yeah, I wonder if that's intentional, because, like, Shy Guys were fairly seldom used after Mario 2. Like, when was the next appearance of Shy Guy after Mario 2? I'd like to look this up.
Yeah, it's gotta be Yoshi's Island. And I really like that, just because there's the different colored Shy Guys, I've always just assumed that there is some kind of ranking between them, or not say ranking, but like a class system with them. Like, red Shy Guys do this, pink Shy Guys do this, Sniffits, they're the marksmen, or I don't know, something like that. Like, they have their own order within their kind of Shy Guy kingdom.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It seems like just different kinds of Shy Guys. The color doesn't really matter, and it's just like their abilities. But Shy Guys are, there's many variants of Shy Guys later in the Mario series. But in this one, there's Shy Guys, Sniffits, and Bezos. So Shy Guys that shoot, and Shy Guys that fly. Later in the series, we got Fly Guys more often than we got Bezos. But hey, Bezo came back in Mario RPG. And
there's looking in the instruction manual here, there's Birdo, which he serves as a mean of transportation in the world of dreams. Shy Guys often ride him. Some kind of symbiotic relationship.
That's right. I forgot. The instruction manual incorrectly swaps Birdo's name for Ostro. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which manual are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Super Mario Bros. 2 manual.
Okay, yeah.
Autobomb. Shy Guy's favorite ride. It is also referred to as Bad Dream Machine.
Damn, Bad Dream Machine.
And I really, really like the name of the huge bird enemy, Albatos.
That's a very cute name. I like that. Okay, I do have the manual opened here. It's crazy to me that Bob-ombs originated from this game, because they are even more iconic than Shy Guy. I mean, they appeared in Mario 3 as well. They immediately became Mario staples. Same with Pokey.
They didn't quite have their, Pokey and Bob-ombs, they didn't have their iconic look that they're known for now.
Yeah, Bob-ombs had arms in this game.
Which I rather like that.
Yeah, I think it looks cute in the art, but in the sprite, it kind of weirds me out. Mm-hmm. Pokey, they pretty much finalized the design aside from color. They really haven't changed him much.
Yeah, more of a, I guess, real cactus kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting design. I mean, as we were talking about the Mario 2 show before, Mauser is a very recurring character in that. He's a boss you fight a couple of times in this game. Mm-hmm. And
I think all the bosses are quite neat.
Yeah, I like Claw Grip. Fry Guy is really funny. I like in Mario Advance when Fry Guy appears and he says, "I'm too hot to touch."
Oh yeah,
that was funny. Oh yeah, Mario Advance was a launch title for the Game Boy Advance.
I was not expecting because I kind of struggled with Mario 2 a lot. Like I played it a lot as a kid, but I don't remember getting very far. I would always use the level skips with the rocket.
Yeah.
But, so I didn't really fight the bosses because I would always use the warps. But to find out like years later that even the bosses have voice acting, like that blew my mind.
Yeah, and also what's really interesting is like the game has several bosses. Mario 1 has one boss that keeps getting stronger. This game has 6. And the remake, Mario Advance, adds a new boss. It adds Birdo, the robot version of Birdo.
Yeah. And the first time I ever saw that was from this like Flash game where you're playing as Mario, like fighting a bunch of characters from other video games. And I saw the Birdo, and I just thought it was, oh, that's so cool, Mecha Birdo. I thought it was a fan-made thing. Not until years later I play it.
It honestly looks and it seems fan-made.
The way it moves, it's kind of it's also like a very large sprite too.
Oh, absolutely. I think that with Mario Advance, they really just wanted to go all out with like showing what the GBA can do. That's why like when you throw enemies in that game, like the sprites keep like rotating.
Oh yeah, they went mode 7 on our asses.
They did. They went fucking crazy with the sprite rotation.
I can't remember where I saw this, but I don't know where I got this from. But Claw Grip, there's something where maybe it's a Nintendo Power magazine where he's called Claw Glip.
I believe it's in the game's credit sequence for Mario 2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They accidentally called him Claw Glip. In the credits for Mario 2, I believe Birdo and Ostro are named correctly, but in the manual for Mario 2 here in America, Birdo is labeled as Ostro, and Ostro is labeled as Birdo. Which I understand why the mistake was made. It's because Ostro is a bird, which is why he's named Ostro. He's an ostrich. So they just were like, yeah, this is a bird. It's Birdo. But no, Birdo is the pink reptile with the bow and the huge mouth.
And why is it called Birdo? Is it because Birdo spits eggs and birds make eggs?
That's really the only thing that I've never considered that. That might be why. In the Mario Brothers Super Show, Birdo actually does fly. I think they refer to her as a bird as well. But the name Birdo it's not like from the Japanese version. In Japanese, her name is just Catherine. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, it's wild.
I didn't.
Yeah, no, you can look that up. Birdo's Japanese name is just Catherine.
I really do like the old Mario 2 commercial, the Japanese one, where it's like a puppet Birdo.
I don't think I've seen that.
I'm quite fond of that one. Like she has a boa on and like is trying to convince you to get the game because Birdo's in it.
I like that.
Or Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine's in it. On the subject of Birdo, should we talk about the elephant in the room?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so this might be common knowledge to people who are like fans of Mario or gaming trivia, but a lot of people probably don't know that Birdo is the first transgender character in video games. It is really cool to have that representation, but unfortunately, this was a very different time, and quite frankly, the description for Birdo is very offensive, and she was clearly made as a joke character to make fun of transgender people, which I do not agree with. But I think it's interesting. I think it's cool that people have this character. Like, fans have sort of taken Birdo out of that original context and just like treated her as like a cool transgender Mario character. And I do like that nowadays in the Mario series, they don't really like make jokes about it anymore. She really is just Birdo. She's herself. But yeah, in her description for the manual, I'm quoting this verbatim. It says, he thinks he is a girl and he spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Birdetta. And that is not a good way to say that. It's clearly that like their intention here was to be derogatory.
I think it's even more interesting that in the direct translation from Doki Doki Panic, I'm reading this here on themushroomkingdom.net. It says, the translation is, he thinks he's a girl and spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Kathy. But the Japanese word used here for thinks is omoikomu, which roughly means wrongly believes.
Jesus. Oh my God.
I'm reading here that in the U.S. manual for Wario's Woods, they just called Birdo Catherine.
Really?
Most likely due to lazy localization.
I have a complete in-box copy of Wario's Woods. I can go check that out, but it's so far away. One thing I did want to mention that I think is really interesting is specifically about Birdo is the game. Get ready for this title: BS Super Mario USA Power Challenge. That was a game for the Nintendo Satellaview add-on for the Super Famicom. If you don't know what that is, basically Nintendo back in the mid-90s made an add-on for the Super Nintendo in Japan only, where games were broadcasted to be downloaded to your Super Nintendo. Just like mini games or like enhanced or changed versions of other games, and they would usually be broadcasted only during certain times. So you would have to download them in a certain window, and often they would actually have narration by celebrities just like going on while you play the game. And what's interesting about this game, which was a port of Super Mario Bros. 2 to the Satellaview, was that there were voice actors for the 3 Birdos in the game, the pink, red, and green Birdos, and they were all voiced by trans women. They were voiced by the cast of a nightclub in Tokyo called Shiroi Heya, which is translates to White Room. In fact, this club is still open. Their website is still active, and according to their website, the voice actors for Red Birdo and Green Birdo were still cast members at that club as late as February 2013.
Wow. So, okay, I don't know much about the broadcast satellite, or the Satellaview, but that's lost media, right? That we don't have those recordings at all.
Yes, the recordings are pretty much gone unless someone happened to tape them. But most of the games on Satellaview have been backed up because people just kept them downloaded. So that game, I believe, is backed up completely, but I don't know if we have any of the broadcasts. But we do have the credits of the game, which do credit those voice actors.
That's pretty legendary, and that's actually quite respectable representation to go all 3 of the Birdos as well.
Yeah, I find it really interesting just because when you first read Birdo's description, it seems like something very transphobic, but then they seem to have gone out of their way to cast trans women to voice Birdo.
Well, one thing that regarding this entire conversation, it's just, I guess this is just getting too, this is lore that I guess doesn't need to be explained, but both Yoshi and Birdo create eggs, and, more specifically, Yoshi, when Yoshi lays eggs, the Yoshi hatches out of those said eggs, or potentially could. And I've always just kind of came to the conclusion that both Yoshi and Birdo, we've seen throughout the Mario franchise, even in Mario 2, there's 3 different Birdo colors. It's a species of animal. It's not just a singular character. And I've always just kind of seen the Yoshis and the Birdos as just kind of an asexual reproducing species within the Mario universe.
Yeah, it seems that they would have to reproduce asexually. They lay eggs and just... Yoshi lays eggs just by eating food, and
eating anything.
Yeah, it's true. Not even eating food, eating living creatures most of the time, actually. But what was I going to say?
That Brian Griffin looks like Birdo.
Yeah, Brian Griffin. If you Photoshop out his mouth, his nose just looks like Birdo's mouth. So take that info with you. Yeah, I remembered actually. Birdos are, in fact, a species, and do you know about the Birdo redemption arc in Mario 2?
Not at all.
Okay, so as you remember, there are 3 different Birdos in Mario 2. Each one is more difficult than the last. I believe the red one shoots fireballs, and the green one maybe shoots fireballs more often or something. I don't exactly remember the difference between them. But the last time you see the pink Birdo is... Actually, it still is able to be completely defeated, but you're not supposed to. What you actually have to do is wait for this Birdo to shoot an egg, then you jump on the egg in order to clear a jump that you couldn't make otherwise. You have to go past an entire ocean on this floating egg. There's this famous picture of Luigi on the egg, and it just says Luigi floating on an egg above the sea, and it's a big meme people like. And that is the egg that this Birdo uses to help you get across. And what's interesting is you don't fight any pink Birdos after this point in the game.
That is a very 8-bit way to tell a story, like to have a sort of character arc.
Yeah, I love that kind of storytelling. It kind of reminds me of like the 2D Sonic games, how they told their story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I never even considered that moment being like a moment for Birdo. But to call that into question, like, that is seriously some, like, Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes type stuff. Like, she shot an egg so fast that you can jump on it and fly across the ocean. And that's nutty.
That is pretty nutty.
I mean, it's all a dream, though. It's all in fiction.
Well, not in Doki Doki Panic. In Doki Doki Panic, it was
true
in a book, but it was real in a book.
But, you know, that's also another thing that which brings into the question, like, is it a dream or is, like, what is Subcon? Because Birdo's, like, as we've seen for the rest of the Mario franchise, Birdo, it just exists, like, in the real world as well. So
I can see Mario 2 being, like, this is Mario's dream recounting real life events.
For sure.
One thing I actually just... kind of going back a bit, I did just remember that in Super Smash Bros. Melee, Subcon is a stage, but it's not called Subcon. It's called Mushroom Kingdom 2, and I don't know why. And I just always thought that was interesting. Birdo does appear in that level, though.
Yep. I always liked the flat sprites in Melee.
Yeah, I thought that was cute as well.
But that stage, I'm gonna be honest, that stage kind of sucks in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not great. I want to find out though. Like, I want to find out. Is it in Japanese? Is it called Subcon? Okay. Apparently, in the Japanese version, it's called Inishie no Okoku 2, Ancient Kingdom 2. So, I have no idea what that means. Well, actually, I mean. What is Subcon called in the Japanese version? In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, its Japanese name has been changed to Ancient Kingdom USA to better reflect the Japanese title of Super Mario Bros. 2.
Oh, that's
Super
cute.
Mario USA.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that they later released in Japan the version that we got in America, with the run function, with the Mario characters, and they straight up called it Super Mario Bros. USA.
That's true. Well, Super Mario USA, but
oh, that's yes.
Yeah, but that's actually really funny because a lot of people like might say, like, when they learn about Doki Doki Panic being like a reskin, they might be like, "Oh, we got scammed. We didn't get a real Mario game." Like, no, America didn't get scammed. Japan got scammed. They sold them the same game twice, and everyone fell for it. Everyone bought it again. They were like, "Oh, it's got Mario on the box. I gotta buy it."
And oh my goodness, one of the worst decisions I've ever made is, speaking of buying a game twice, you know, I had Super Mario All-Stars on the SNES ever since I was a little kid, and then of course I got the Wii version and was very disappointed that it's just the SNES version. After owning the Super Mario All-Stars Wii version, I don't know why, I made a lot of bad Wii Shop Channel purchases. I bought Super Mario Bros. 2 for 500 Wii points, even though I had the disc of All-Stars. I just wanted to play the NES game, but I bought a lot of $5 NES games back then, and I would not pay $5 to play Donkey Kong on NES ever again in my life.
Yeah, same. By the way, can I just say, Super Mario Bros. 2, the original and the Super Nintendo version, is so hard. Like, it is so much harder than I remember. And like, usually the Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, as well as the other Mario Advance games, really do not change a ton in terms of gameplay. But Super Mario Advance compared to Super Mario Bros. 2 is like night and day. They like made the game so different, and I am very appreciative of that because they made it so much more playable, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think that they were, I believe that all three of the, not all three, but I don't know, it's just definitely a different engine that they're running this, like, whole thing on. Like, that was also shared for Super Mario Bros. 3.
For sure, it definitely controls a lot more like traditional Mario, but I think the most important change, for me at least, was it's so much easier to get health boosts.
Oh yeah, hearts are always floating around.
Yeah, in Mario 2, I don't exactly remember how you're supposed to do it, but like you need to collect like a certain amount of cherries in order to get like one heart.
Yeah, 5 cherries.
You're not even guaranteed that heart. It like floats like in a weird like corner of the screen. You have to like get it in a certain amount of time. But
And it could be a star maybe too.
The star is not for cherries. The star spawns if you defeat enough enemies.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention. The star is completely identical in Doki Doki Panic. It plays different music, but that's the Mario star in Doki Doki Panic.
Absolutely.
So I thought that was interesting. But what was I going to say about that? Yeah, in Mario Advance, to get a heart, you just have to hit 2 enemies with 1 throw. That's it.
I think that that whole combo system, like where the number appears for how many enemies you're hitting in a row, I love that so much. That's a big satisfying addition.
I was actually going to say, like, maybe without this game, we wouldn't have had Mario able to pick up shells in Mario 3. Like, this was the Mario game that invented picking things up.
Yeah, I'm also noticing that in the Super Mario Bros. 2 manual, it calls the shells turtle shells, not Koopa shells. There are no Koopas in this land.
Well, as we established beforehand, it seemed like Koopas were a tribe of turtles rather than a species.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
So it could be a Koopa shell. Hell, I mean, the Mario movie seems to, like, go back to this because they refer to Bowser as a turtle.
Yeah, they do. They do. I wanted to go back on what you're saying about the difficulty of this game, but upon replaying Super Mario Bros. 2, I found the original NES game to be, especially coming off of the Game Boy Advance version, I thought the NES one was very simple and slow-paced, and I really liked replaying it, but it was, I don't think it's even close to as challenging as the original Super Mario Brothers, personally. I think it's because it's just a lot slower.
To me, it's... I struggle with it more. I think it's challenging just in a very different way.
There's a lot more puzzles in this. I mean, there is barely... The only puzzles in Super Mario Brothers would be, like, pick the right path in Bowser's castle. Like, that's a puzzle.
Those aren't really puzzles, more as they are just, like, bullshit. But,
But I'm
not a fan of those parts in Mario 1, must say.
They also changed a lot of the placements for the mushrooms and coins in the subspace for the Game Boy Advance versions. It's a lot easier to get the health pickups, health upgrades.
That's good.
In a Game Boy Advance version, because in the NES game, I think that it's much more of just a thing of the era of like, oh, here's a secret that you could only know if someone tells you or if you read it in Nintendo Power.
Or if you just like keep trying a million times and throwing it in different places, which is what I did.
And that's one thing I wanted to bring up was the very first issue of Nintendo Power, the cover article, the cover game, the big game they were pushing was Super Mario Bros. 2. There's a whole massive article in there that goes over like the first couple stages. And I just learned this, but the California Raisins, the famous claymation little characters, the sculptor of the California Raisins sculpted the clay Mario and Wart that are on the cover of that original Nintendo Power, which it's Blue Mario as well.
Oh yeah, it is Blue Mario. Is his hat blue or is it red?
Yeah, Blue Mario with red overalls.
What the heck? His hat is blue?
And he's holding a carrot as well.
He's holding a carrot. Interesting. Well, there are carrots in the game, just most of the ads do use turnips. What is he holding in the box art for the game?
A turnip.
Okay.
And I do think it's very cute that for the very last issue of Nintendo Power, they directly reference this cover, but it's Mario and it's Bowser chasing him instead.
Oh, that's really cute. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a side-by-side on the screen, or the viewers looking at it, I guess.
By the way, I should point out, like, it's really cool that this game has so many different vegetables to pick up because, like, this was an NES game. Games back then, they really had to, like, save as much space as they could so they wouldn't make unnecessary objects. But, like, there's just, like, a lot of different vegetables. There's, like, turnips, there's, like, small turnips, there's carrots, there's, like, peppers, I believe.
Oh,
There's a lot.
Eggplant.
It's interesting. Eggplant. Are there eggplants?
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so.
See, I'm
in
not,
the ice
I don't
stage.
even remember all of them. There's that many.
I'm thinking about the whales that blast you up. That's kind of
Oh, that was fun. Those were like that. This game had like so much like creativity in it. Like,
and I'm actually wondering,
again, like Mario 1 like really had like no like visible like level themes like throughout a world. Like it had like castle levels, snow levels, ground levels, underground levels, but it didn't really have like overarching themes throughout the worlds. But Mario 2 definitely has that.
got the classics. You got the desert stage. You got the ice stage. You got the
Whale stage.
caves.
Come to think of it, this game has no water levels.
No water levels. There's no swimming in this game. But no swimming. No swimming.
Yeah, I mean the whale level is water themed, but there's no swimming.
And I really, really love that there's multiple parts to each stage. Like you go in a door, now you're inside of a new room, and then you leave the room and you're back outdoors. Like there's a lot of screens.
These stages like, I mean, there's also the keys that you can like bring to doors, and the Phantos that chased you when you hold the keys. By the way, Phantos were always the hardest thing ever for me. Mm-hmm. And they're like ruthless. I didn't realize you could just put the key down and then they go away. And then
you had to hold it.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize that till like very recently. I was just like, well, why would I put the key down? They're gonna steal it. I thought they would take the key because they're trying to.
Yeah, the key.
Yeah,
it also respawns if you lose it. If you throw it off a hole or something, it will respawn back in the room where you got it.
Well, that's just good design. I mean, they want you to be able to beat the level. It would be kind of stupid if they didn't.
Oh yeah, I was thinking maybe that because there's so many vegetables, I wonder if it's something to do with like the way that you pick it up out of the ground. Maybe the sprite doesn't have to load in until you actually are plucking it. Therefore, they only have to like load in one vegetable at a time because you can only have one on the screen.
Well, that is probably it. Unless we are talking about, do multiple vegetables appear on screen at once while you're fighting Ward?
No, I think it only ever pumps out one and then you grab it.
Okay. That could be, yeah.
Which, that's a video game trope that I just I'm weirdly fond of, where it's like the boss's like biggest weakness, like literally the machine that kills Wart. It's just in his boss room, like the worst thing possible for him.
Yeah, he's like,
it's like, just go to a different room.
He's like, oh, vegetables kill me. I better stand in the vegetable room. Like. Yeah, I am a big fan of, like, games just having the villain just, like, very... The villain, like, very well could just make it so that you can't beat them, but they provide the option for you to beat them.
Yeah, I had this idea when I was a kid. It's just like, why doesn't Dr. Wily just make Spike Man?
Yeah, good point. Why doesn't he just make Spike Man and he's in a room with spikes only?
Why do you think there's, in the Super Mario Bros. 2 NES manual, why is there a question mark next to Wart?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, because, like, I would understand it if they just didn't show Wart at all, but they show official artwork of Wart, but not what he looks like in-game. To me, that just seems like they didn't want to beat the game to make the manual. Mm-hmm. Because keeping a character as a secret would be cool, but they don't. They show official art of him. So I genuinely have no idea. I have no answer for that. It is strange.
It's a mystery, just like the mark. I'm looking at Pidgeot right here. He brings evil dreams. He can't fly on his own, so Wart gave him a flying carpet.
Aw, that's really cute.
That is cute.
I like that. I like that you can use their carpets. They're kind of like the Lakitus.
Yeah, absolutely. They are the Lakitu of Mario 2.
And in fact, like, I mean, you couldn't ride the Lakitu Clad in Mario 1. This is like the first game where you can ride an enemy's thing. Same with the Auto Bomb and the Ostro.
Which is pretty cool, because they did want to add rideable clouds in the original game. Yeah, that was in a lot of early design documents, those like graph paper drawings. There was a lot of drawings of Fire Mario inside of the, or Fiery Mario inside of the cloud throwing fireballs down. but it never made it in the game. And then they kind of made a big deal about it in Super Mario Maker, like preliminary videos like, oh, hey, we finally got to add this mechanic into Super Mario Brothers 1.
It is really interesting, like, how many things they, like, wanted to do and just couldn't until later. Like, famously, Yoshi was, like, Miyamoto wanted to put Yoshi in Mario 1. He wanted Mario to have, like, a horse to ride on or something. And he had, like, a sketch of Mario riding this creature. He, like, kept it in his desk for years. And once Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo was being developed, they were, like, finally able to realize it in the way they wanted.
I like that a lot. I'm just
it's cute.
They a lot of, I mean, how many ideas were just like shelved from the very beginning?
The thing is, like, with ideas, like, they come and go, like, so many times. Like, so many things, like, may just have not even been written down and were brought back for later games just because it was something they remembered or didn't even realize they remembered, and just thought of again. Because there's a lot of 2D Marios nowadays. And they do add new ideas all the time. Like, one thing I really like is in New Super Mario Brothers, those little things that you stand on and then they spin you around and you do a really big jump.
Oh, yeah.
And you twirl afterwards. I like those. The pea balloon in Mario World, just, like, a lot of people talk about, like, these, like, Mario mainstay things, like, oh, a flying power-up or, like a thing to climb. But I like the weird-ass things in Mario that just are very strange and you interact with in fun ways, and they move you in very unique ways.
Which there's a lot of in this game. A lot of ways to travel, like riding eggs over the ocean.
It's true. Name one other game where you can ride an egg over the ocean. I dare you.
Doki Doki Panic.
Well, okay. I guess you got me there. One thing I did want to mention, because we were talking about how big the game's levels are. This is the only 2D Mario to have no time limit.
I never realized that.
Yeah, though I feel like that's going to be immediately dated because I was looking at the trailer again for Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Seems like that doesn't have it either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of welcome.
But it seems like it did in one level.
Yeah.
It seems like one level was a time attack level, so that's interesting.
Absolutely. I do want to really mention that this, I would say that this has my favorite soundtrack of the original, the 4 Mario games. The 4.
It's a very good one for sure.
Even like the death sound. The death sound is my favorite Mario. Yep, that's my favorite death sound.
It's a cute one. I'll give it that. I never thought I would refer to death as cute, but here we are. That actually does remind me, though. I was playing Doki Doki Panic, and I was just playing the game, like going in the first level, and I was like, something feels missing. This song doesn't feel complete. Am I going insane? And no, I was not. Super Mario Brothers 2, the main, like, level theme, Rolling Hills, I believe the song is called, has a full extra 20 seconds that just isn't in the original Doki Doki Panic. You know the part that goes That's just not in. That's not in Doki Doki Panic at all.
That's shocking,
yeah,
but not surprising.
Yeah, it was, so the song just, like, loops really early, and I'm like, it gives me whiplash. I'm like, wait, what? The same goes for the character select music. I believe it's shorter in Doki Doki Panic as well, which is just interesting because Doki Doki Panic was on a disc. It had more space for music. It had more space for everything. Mm-hmm. The discs hold a lot more space than cartridges, but for the cartridge they added a lot, which I think is really cool. Like, a lot of little things too. Like the Albatross has more frames in his animation in the American version.
Oh. And
the grass that you pull vegetables out from, those are just completely stationary in Doki Doki Panic, but they're animated in Mario too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm also seeing here that Luigi actually jumps higher than Mama.
Really?
Yeah, it's right here. It's saying that Mama's standard jump is 51 pixels and Luigi's standard jump is 56 pixels.
Wow, Luigi, hats off to you.
Oh yeah, that's another thing to mention is the super jump, which has appeared in a lot of other Mario games. That charge up, big ass jump.
What I think is really cool is it appeared in Mario Bros. Classic, the GBA remake of Mario Bros. That's included in all the Mario Advance games.
Wait, really? You can super jump in the Mario Bros.
Yeah, what's cool is, like, as you probably know, that game originated as a side game to this game in Super Mario Advance, that remake of Mario Bros. It uses Mario's sprite when he's shrunken down in Mario Advance, and it seems to have a lot of features from that. Like, it has the run button, it has the super jump, and it also has picking up something you're standing on. If you stand on the POW block, you can pick it up and throw it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I probably played that Mario Bros. Game like 7 times as a kid. Like, I never got far. It wasn't until the last...
Oh, I was hooked on it as a kid.
Yeah, you telling me just a while ago, like, oh yeah, Bowser's in there. I never even knew that.
Well, I didn't know that until much later anyway, because he's only in the multiplayer, which we did finally play together.
Oh,
because it's on Switch Online now.
We played that on stream.
Yeah. We should stream together again, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was fun.
I'm trying to look over Nintendo Power Volume 1 just to see if there's anything interesting regarding Mario 2.
There's always something interesting with Mario 2. It's Mario 2.
A 2-page spread showing the 4 characters in an Olympic-type setting can be found on pages 12 and 13. Aw, this is cute. And it's kind of weird, actually. Look at this. Look at this weird birdo.
Let me see this. Why does she look like that? She reminds me of like a pig or something. Peach looks really cute. This is official art.
Oh my gosh, the rocket.
Do you want to like explain what this is for people who are just listening? Yeah.
Well, it's on the screen ever since I mentioned it at first. But our 4 competitors are showing off their talents. Mario is the best all-around athlete. Luigi is a world-class jumper. The princess excels at long jump. And Tiny Toad is super strong.
Tiny Toad. What I think is actually really cool about this art is Toad is also Blue Toad, just like how he is in the game.
Yeah. Hey, and even Wart is represented. They probably just got the instruction manual, but actually, after looking over the Mario 2 instruction manual, the rocket is not even mentioned once.
So I guess they actually played the game. But yeah, this is a clip from the first issue of Nintendo Power, right?
Yes, volume 1.
Okay, so yeah, this is a 2-page spread from the first Nintendo Power showing a bunch of characters from Mario 2 competing in a sporting event. You know, it's actually really cute. Toad is doing like the throw, the shot put, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But he's throwing Mauser. Mm-hmm. I think that's cute.
You can't, I don't believe you can pick him up in the game, so. That's inaccurate.
You can't pick him up, but you can pick things up in the game, so I think that's fun.
You could pick things up in this game?
Listen, that was a new thing for the Mario series back then. You know, Ezra, I noticed something when I was listening back to our first episode. There was something we neglected to mention in our first episode about Super Mario Brothers.
What's that?
We never mentioned the vines.
The vines?
We didn't mention the vines.
Oh, yeah, that you could climb on vines. You could hit a block, it'll raise a vine up to get to the warp on in World 4.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we just totally forgot about them because they are pretty well hidden. Like, you don't find them often.
Yeah, and they only lead to the cloud area.
Climbing is a big part in this game, Super Mario Brothers 2. So it's interesting they expanded on that.
Every character has their climbing sprites for big and small, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, and there's even an enemy that is exclusive to vines. The Hoopster. He is a creature about the size of a basketball. He resembles a ladybug. He lives on vines and crawls up and down. Beautiful.
I always just called it the ladybug, but he is not a ladybug. He just resembles one.
I always thought of him as a ladybug until just now. You know what's also interesting about this manual? It shows Phanto, and the art looks accurate, but the sprite they're using of Phanto is his design from Doki Doki Panic.
Yep.
It's not the evil, scary Phanto. Well, I guess they're both scary, but this one looks decidedly less evil.
I'm seeing... Oh, yeah. There's no in-game images in the GBA version. But... Oh! There's coins! You could collect 5 coins! The Ace coins. There are 5 coins per area. Collect them all to get a 100% clear rating. They add incentive. They add some... just some more... things to do.
Yeah, it's fun, secret, hidden things. I totally thought they were Advance coins because they have the letter A on them, and it's Mario Advance.
That makes sense.
Are they called Ace coins? Is that like official?
Yeah, that's what it says in the manual right here.
Very nice. Very, very cool.
As well, because I never played original Super Mario World. I only played the Game Boy Advance port of it. But both the Yoshi coins and the Ace coins in this game, I thought they were just big cookies for a long time. Like, for a
I can
long
see that with
time.
the Yoshi coin for sure.
Like, this is a Yoshi, and plus knowing about Yoshi's cookie, I would always just call them the Yoshi cookies.
The Yoshi cookies. I was watching the little stop motion animations from Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, and in a few of them, they actually show real life cookies that look like the cookies from Yoshi's Cookie. I thought that was very cute.
Holy crap, they made the cookies from Yoshi's Cookie into a real thing?
Guys, like me holding a plate of cookies. Oh my god, they made that stuff from Yoshi's Cookie real. That stuff.
Hey, not to be a hater, but I do not like Yoshi's Cookie. I don't like that game. It's
Yoshi's Cookie is one of my favorite puzzle games.
It's just the up and I just think that you're given a little bit too much freedom with how you move. You can move up, down, left, right, and it's just it's hard to lose that game, I think. But the puzzle mode,
play against me, and it won't be hard to lose, buddy. I'll kick your ass in Yoshi's Cookie, okay?
Is it on the NES service? I
don't know, but all right. Whenever we see each other in person, we're playing GameCube Yoshi's Cookie, okay?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Do you not know about the GameCube version?
No, absolutely not.
You don't know about Nintendo Puzzle Collection?
Oh, okay. I'm thinking, in my head, I imagined like a GameCube case for Yoshi's Cookie, and I'm just like, what? No. Like,
just only Yoshi's Cookie.
It got a standalone $60 release.
Well, it is interesting that, like, Nintendo Puzzle Collection has the 3 games. It has Panel de Pon, Dr. Mario, and Yoshi's Cookie. And Dr. Mario and Panel de Pon are just ports of the N64 games.
Oh.
But Yoshi's Cookie is completely new.
I've never actually played that Puzzle Collection game before.
I have a physical copy. Ezra, when are you coming over? We're not recording in the same room. We're on opposite sides of the country, for anyone who's curious.
Yeah, this is live from, well, not live, actually. This is pre-recorded. I mean...
Yeah, this is not live. You're listening to a pre-recorded recording. We edited it and everything.
This was recorded June 7th, 2014.
That's correct.
So if you're hearing this anytime in the future, it's just, we finally got around to doing it.
Should we, like, take out all the moments where I mentioned Super Mario Brothers Wonder?
And the movie.
And the Mario RPG remake?
Just been sitting on this project for a long time.
Yeah, ooh, baby. Yeah, we're going back to our old recordings. We're inserting topical things into them. This is a very stupid joke. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about this game.
I do have a couple of more details I wanted to point out.
What you got?
That I think are really interesting. So, first off, the voice acting in Mario Advance.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Advance was the GBA's launch title from Nintendo. So they were like, we got to show everything this thing can do. So the voices are abundant. It happens constantly. If you play as Toad, you're hearing every 2 seconds. It's great. I love it. But what's also really cool is that a lot of Mario characters who, like, never speak have voices. Birdo has a voice. She's voiced by the same woman who voices Peach and Toad. And she says, "This is as far as you go." I think that's really cool. And Charles Martinet pretty much voices every male boss character. He voices Mauser, and he even voices Wart, which I think was really cool. There's also, I mentioned the leaked voice clips from the Nintendo Giga Leak that talk about this game's beta title, Super Mario Bros. 2 Deluxe. But there's actually several unused titles. Each character, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, each character has voice clips of them saying the following: Super Mario Bros. 2 Deluxe, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe 2, Super Mario USA, Super Mario USA Advance, Super Mario Bros. 2 Advance.
They just they covered all the bases with that one.
Yeah, they were like, we have no idea what the hell we're gonna call this thing. Can you guys just do this 5 times? Also, I think it's amazing that Peach and Toad have the same voice actor.
Oh, really? I thought Charles Martinet voiced Toad.
You thought Charles Martinet voiced Toad?
No. Well, I mean, yes, yes.
No.
I didn't think that. I would
No,
never.
you fool! I would never think such a thing. I'm smart. I'm Toad Town Tours. I don't think Charles Martinet has ever voiced Toad.
Oh, Toad's Worth.
He voiced Toad's Worth in Sunshine, I believe. But yeah, Toad has, even when Peach's voice actress was replaced, the new actor still voiced both Peach and Toad, like to this day.
It's a joint deal.
Yeah, so yeah, no, Peach and Toad do have the same voice. And you can kind of tell with Toad's voice in this game, because this is really the game where you hear Toad talk the most.
And really thinking about it as well, is this Toad's like kind of debut speaking game? Because this was before Super Mario Sunshine. This was Mario Kart 64 had, in my opinion, very bad voices, especially Toad.
Well, those voices, are not, like, Luigi and Wario, well, they are voiced by Charles Martinet in the American version, but not the Japanese version. Mm-hmm. There's a whole thing with that, and it's shared voices with Mario Party. This might be the first game where Toad is voiced by that actress. Is it Jen Taylor, or is it Leslie Swan? I forgot. Let me look that up. No, not Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, even in the movie, Keegan-Michael Key, he voiced both Toad and Peach.
Yeah, he did. He did. He was credited as Anya Taylor-Joy for some reason. I don't know who that is. I think that's like a stage name of some sort. Okay, Jen Taylor. So I was right all the way from the beginning. Yeah, so Jen Taylor voiced Toad and Peach, and apparently, according to Mario Wiki, she voiced Peach and Toad since Mario Golf on N64.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I guess this wasn't the first game with that Toad voice, because...
Oh, you're right!
That's true. I distinctly remember whenever your ball goes out of bounds in Mario Golf, Toad goes, "Oh, B!"
My distinct memory about voice acting in Mario Golf on Nintendo 64 is that when you're playing with other players, every character has 4 different taunts that you can yell while you're the other person is putting. So
Ezra. Ezra. You silly fool. You thought it was 4? They actually have 8.
How do you get the other 8? I mean, the other 4.
The D-pad.
Oh my gosh.
See, the like insults are on the C buttons, and the like encouragement is on the D-pad.
Oh my gosh. I would always play against the computer, and then I would always hear like the nice shot like from the other characters, like Baby Mario, nice shot. I'd never even considered that was a manual input. I thought it was just the computer being nice.
Well, it was the computer being nice at that point, but you can also do that.
Baby Mario has a taunt where he just goes bop bop bop. You know that one? Bop bop bop.
What?
He just says bop bop bop.
I can't hear a thing.
I couldn't hear your Toad impressions earlier either.
Oh, I think that's because of Discord.
True.
So it'll be on the recording, and it'll be really weird that neither of us react. Yeah, Discord, like, a lot of the time when I do voices, it's just like, oh, this is background noise. Let's cut this out.
Yeah, it's copyright infringement, actually.
Yeah. You can't sound like Toad. That's against the law. Go to jail. One other thing I wanted to point out about Super Mario Advance, I learned this from some YouTuber, I don't remember who, but when I found that out, it blew my mind. I guess we could put up the intro on screen. As soon as you turn the game on, it shows the characters walking onto the screen, and one part of the screen is lit up, and they walk into the frame where it's lit, and then the rest of the screen lights up. And I realized that the part of the screen that's lit at the beginning is the exact resolution of the original Game Boy. So they used that to demonstrate, like, here's the jump in quality from the original Game Boy to the Game Boy Advance. Like, this is the next level.
I never even considered that.
And if you play a Game Boy game on the GBA, I believe it will just be in that exact square they show in that intro.
Even as a child, I would never, whenever playing an original Game Boy cartridge, I would never use the, you could press the R button to expand the resolution, but it would stretch it, and I hated that so much.
I would do it as a child, usually just accidentally. Like, I would just, like, press the buttons because, like, I liked pressing the buttons.
Oh, I would mash it for sure.
Like, I would just be like, this is fun, but, like, I don't think I cared that it was stretched because I was a dumb kid.
No, even as a child, I would just have these gaming opinions of just like, this is not right.
Listen, you can't play Mario with the stretch effect. You're not a real gamer, okay? I'm 6.
What's the meme of calling Super Mario Brothers 2 the greatest game of all time? Do you know how that originated? Because I don't.
I'm not familiar with this meme, but unless it is what I'm thinking of, which is Super Mario Brothers 2 wins Game of the Year every year, which originates from Donkey.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because Donkey always makes a Game of the Year video, and he talks about, like, he doesn't talk about every game that released that year, he talks about the games he played that year, but every single video where he does that, without fail, he always ends it, like, but actually it's Super Mario Brothers 2, baby! Super Mario 2! And it's just, like, cheering in the background. It's always Super Mario 2 is always the Game of the Year, every single year. That's it. He's just been doing that for, like, a decade.
For a long time, I would... call Super Mario Brothers 2 my favorite video game because it was just a really easy answer that no one's gonna be like, oh, not that game. It's like, oh, okay, that's obscure but also famous at the same time, I guess. It was just like safe, I felt.
Obscure is an interesting word to describe a main series Mario game, but I get what you mean.
I guess
like, it's the weird Mario game for sure. It's the weird one.
Yeah. So I'm watching the ending of Super Mario Brothers 2 right now, and after you defeat Wart, you like uncork a vase, and the like subcon inhabitants come out, and these are what I was actually thinking of as like being the flying monkeys because they look different than the Bezos.
Let me get that visual. You want to send that to me?
I'm just watching a YouTube video. It's at 1 hour, 15 minutes, which is also...
incredible.
Okay, this podcast, if you've been listening up to this point, you could have beaten the entirety of Super Mario Brothers 2, because this full playthrough is only an hour 17 on YouTube, this YouTube video.
Mario's holding this onion with glasses, and it's adorable.
Yeah, I didn't even remember the onions.
I don't remember the onion at all.
I think those only appear from Wart's vegetable machine.
Wow, Wart, you really are just like, you're really just making it so no one else can have onions. He deserved to die.
Also, I didn't know that it says contributor. Like which character you played the most? Contributor Luigi.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I think that's really cool. I also like the little tiny sprites of them in the corner after it says contributor. But yeah, it's cool that it tells you like, here's the characters you played as the most. I think that's a fun little detail.
They also the residents of Subcon, they carry Wart away, and presumably they rip him to shreds limb by limb.
Do they?
I don't know. We just
did
see
I miss that?
Like stars and like it's like a scuffle, like a cartoony scuffle. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they could just beat him up. I don't know if they're tearing off his limbs.
All right, that's true. I'm watching some gameplay of Super Mario Advance, and you're absolutely right. How they're just going everything that could like flip around and fly. Like when you do the super jump, your character does a backflip.
That like random like weird carrot like at the start of the first level that just like stretches and extends. That's also
and like, the giant vegetables too.
Oh yeah, and the giant Shy Guys, and when you like stomp on them, they squish down.
I like
Remember
that.
them?
I like that.
Yeah, I like that they were all going all crazy with those graphic effects. Sprite rotation is really cool on Game Boy Advance, and I think Sonic Advance benefited from it a lot, because Sonic games are always very slope-based.
Sonic Advance 3. Hey, now we're talking about Sonic on this Mario podcast, but Sonic Advance 3 is...
Chow Garden Tours, guys.
Welcome to Chow Garden Chillers. Sonic Advance 3 was my very first Game Boy Advance game. That's a fact.
You know, Ezra, that game has full co-op.
I will say that I'm very nostalgic, and I really like Sonic Advance 3, but I think Sonic Advance 3 is probably one of the worst Sonic games, like level design wise. Like it's nightmarish.
I don't really get all the hate, but I haven't played that one as much as the other two.
Well, think about this. The Sonic Advance franchise is basically the only time in the Sonic franchise where there's, besides Sonic CD, where bottomless pits are like a constant threat throughout the entirety of the level design. Like,
Oy.
Sonic usually will have spikes at the bottom of the pits, but
That's true, yeah. I think the Sonic Advance trilogy desperately needs like ports where they just zoom it out considerably.
hey, that's what's next. With it, like it there, I mean, that's kind of the only Sonic thing that really hasn't gotten much attention.
Fair enough, yeah. I hope we can see it happen.
What are the Yoshi eggs in Super Mario Advance?
So it's actually an extension of something from Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. After you beat Super Mario... Well, in Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, there's the challenge mode where I mentioned, like, one of the challenges is there's a Yoshi egg hidden in each level. But in Super Mario Advance, after you beat the game, the title screen actually changes. I believe the color of the sky is different. I might be wrong. But now there's a little Yoshi egg on a hill in the background. And there's the Yoshi Hunt, I believe it's called. Maybe it's not called that. Yoshi Hunt sounds bad. It sounds like you're hunting Yoshis.
Oh, it's called Yoshi Challenge.
Yoshi Challenge. It's very challenging. Yeah, and each level has 2 hidden Yoshi eggs now, and you have to find them. I have no idea what happens if you get them all. I should look that up, because I'm not going to do it.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now.
Like, does Yoshi appear in the game?
Yes. Okay, so when you collect all the eggs, they're all the different colors, and the sprites for the Yoshi are actually... Yeah, they're kind of 8-bit. They kind of look like Game Boy sprites.
Yeah, and they seem to be traced off of sprites. I can't... Are these Mario World style Yoshis?
No.
Or are they... They kind of remind me of the Yoshis in, like, the ending of Mario World, where they're, like, front-facing. Yeah, no, these are Mario World style Yoshis. I actually have a Mario World art print on my wall. And there is a Yoshi that looks remarkably similar to this.
I'm looking at the animation from when this person completed the level, and they hatch out of the eggs, and it goes through the like growth of the Yoshi, like the baby to adolescence to adult.
It shows the funny baby Yoshi with no arms.
Yeah.
I love that Yoshi. I made a sticker of a baby Yoshi. I just like that they don't have arms, and they always look like they're, like, dizzy.
They're helpless creatures.
Yeah, but you can feed them.
That's
just like all creatures, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know why I was saying but you can feed them as if that's like a comeback in some way.
Hey, one thing I want to say about Yoshi that I hate that this has been like brought up in like I think Matt Pat was the one to like say this and like make it like common knowledge, but like in Super Mario World, Mario hits Yoshi over the head to make him stick his tongue out.
Yeah, it's annoying. But that was the intention by the developers. The artists have said they like tried to pass it off as if Mario is like pointing his finger out and saying go.
Really?
That's what they've said.
In the instruction manual, it shows him pointing.
Well, that's what the artists said they tried to pass it off as.
Oh, okay.
But they also admitted that their original intent was that it's Mario punching him, which is upsetting. I don't like that. What's cool is that they really like never did that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at watching this gameplay right now, and some of these Yoshi eggs there's no way to just know that it's here. You just have to have the potion, go into subcon, and just know that the egg will be there in this very spot.
Yeah. Remember like a second ago when I said, because I'm never doing it, that's why. It's just like, I appreciate things like that, but like that is more so like, cool, I'm a kid, I have no responsibilities, and I have not many games other than this, so I'm going to squeeze as much time as I can out of this. But I'm an adult now, I'm not gaining much from this. I want to play other games because I'm done with this one. I know what Yoshi looks like. I can look him up on Google. I don't need to see him in this one.
Yeah, I think overall, like, I don't I love the Mario franchise, and especially these like mainline games, but they're not games that I often replay. And really, just playing them for this podcast was like kind of the first time in years that I've played these games.
Yeah, they're not really like the NES ones for me are not ones I ever like sit down and like try to beat. They're more so games I will pick up for 5 minutes and be like, this is cool, and then I get mad because they're so hard. But it really was cool to like actually like go back and beat them. I definitely did beat one of them recently. Like I don't remember which one because I played them around a month ago, but I beat one version. I didn't beat all three that I tried. But it was really cool going back to them, and I like looking at these games with a new perspective. And hey, I'm excited to do that with Mario 3, because that is probably the first out of these games that I will say I love. I absolutely adore. Like, these games are really cool. I like them, but like they're definitely of their era, and they're just not for me specifically. Mm-hmm. They're not what I look for in a game. But Mario 3 is when the series really started going crazy, and I'm excited.
Let's take them in their most perfect forms. Like, I guess for Super Mario Brothers 1, it would be the All-Stars version, because there is no Game Boy Advance version. And then
there's Deluxe.
Oh, I glossed over it. Okay, but let's say Super Mario Brothers Deluxe versus Super Mario Advance. Which do you prefer?
It's that one's tough for me, because Mario 2 versus Mario 1, I probably would say Mario 1, but Mario Advance fixes a lot of problems I had with Mario 2. So really, it's not really a decision I feel like I could make right now. I really like both a lot. I guess Mario Deluxe, just because that one feels a lot more special to me, especially because it uses all the old graphics but adds so much. It feels like more of like, what if we like updated Mario 1? Like, what if we patched it to give it like menus and stuff? Plus,
there's so many extra goodies and fun things that I do like that they give us Mario Brothers in all 4 of the Super Mario Advance games. But I kind of like...
And in Superstar Saga, for some reason.
Oh, that's right. So 5 ways to play Mario Brothers on your Game Boy Advance. But I kind of... Maybe like... If they didn't put that in the game, we might have seen like a calendar or a stopwatch, like these just random goodies that were in Deluxe.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I'm saying that I'd rather have a calendar than a full game, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I'm very much the kind of person who appreciates little doodads in games, as we already talked about with WarioWare. By the way, WarioWare episode. We gotta get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we should do is wrap up the quadrilogy, the first 4 mainline games, and that way we have those just established. Like, here you go, just go through the whole original mainline series, and then we can delve into spin-offs, because really that's what Nintendo did as well.
Yeah, we'll go in like every direction. Yeah,
after Mario World.
Yeah, and after Mario World, the next Mario game we got was Yoshi's Island. Like, that was a crazy game.
Oh yeah. We could do like a Yoshi ep where it's like Yoshi's Cookie. We got a Yoshi Safari. I never played Yoshi Safari.
Yeah, I think I definitely need to pick up Safari. Like, I have part of a Super Scope, but not all of it. And I've been into light gun games recently. Actually, I just picked up Point Blank 3. It's a lot of fun.
What's that on?
PS1.
Oh yeah.
Ezra, have you not played Point Blank?
No, never. Wait. That's the it's a party game, right?
Yeah, it's basically WarioWare with guns. You would love it.
Is there an arcade version?
Yes.
Yes, I've played the arcade version many times.
Okay, hell yeah. In fact, there is an arcade version of a spin-off of that game that I really want to play. It's called Ghoul Panic. Ghoul Panic didn't come out in America on consoles, so I have no idea how I could actually play it, because if I want to play it in English, I'll need a PAL console, and that's 50 hertz. And how am I going to do that with a light gun? Because it needs to be on a screen that supports 50 hertz.
Well, point blank, it's basically there's this arcade called Round One. There's about 4 of them near me, or I guess within an hour's distance, and 2 of the ones that I've been to have a point blank machine.
Very cool. I've never played it on real hardware.
And I haven't checked for Ghoul. What's it called? Ghoul Squad?
Ghoul Panic.
Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, my heart goes doki doki because I saw a ghoul, so I'm really scared. It's actually interesting. There is a Round One a couple hours from me, and I haven't seen it in person, but according to my friends, they have a cabinet for Rhythm Tengoku.
Oh, that's a bucket list one for me. I've never played that.
So Ezra, when are you coming to the East Coast?
I'm gonna say I can't promise anything. I can't say before the end of this year, but certainly, like, as a matter of fact, before the end of 2024, like, that's just, I guarantee it. But
all right. Well, I can promise you guys this. When Ezra and I are in person, we will be streaming Mario Party E.
Oh yeah, or Mario Part E, as some refer to it as.
Those some should be executed for their crimes.
But I think this was a very productive and extensive conversation regarding Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Advance, and Doki Doki Panic.
All right.
Any last words? You think it's good to wrap it up?
I have one last thought. If you guys do want to support the creators of this game, you can go on Steam and pick up Doki Doki Literature Club right now. I believe it's under the Steam Summer Sale. Even though this episode definitely won't be out by the time that thing is still going. But yeah, definitely pick it up.
Yeah, I haven't played that one, but if you like Doki Doki Panic, you'll love this. You'll love that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the Literature Club game of the Doki Doki series. All right, I guess we're done with the episode.
With that, thanks to the viewers, thanks to everybody, and yeah, bye. Goodbye.
See you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
I love you.
I love you.
And real quick, I just wanted to ask the viewer, you listening, if you made it this far, and if you're watching on the YouTube version of this, or if you're listening on Spotify or any other platform, go to the YouTube version of this, leave a comment, just anything, any question you have about Mario, anything about Mario you've been curious about, JoJo and I will do our best to address it on the next recording that we do. So feel free to just shoot anything our way.
And for today's blooper fact, this one's a doozy. Turns out there are no bloopers in any version of Super Mario Bros. 2, except for the Japanese game Super Mario Bros. 2, known here as Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. That's your blooper fact of the week.